Around the news lately, there has been a lot of controversy about a certain order of court directing Binance to disclose certain confidential and sensitive information about her customers to the Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, otherwise known as the EFCC. So let us shed some legal light to those issues today. To have a proper understanding of the subject matter, we must analyze and identify all the parties involved in this concern before us. So let us start. Number one party involved, the court that has made the order. Number two, the one who sought the order, the EFCC, who stands to be the immediate beneficiary of the order. Number three, the one whom against the order is made, Binance. And number four, the one whose interest is affected one way or the other, and that is the public, the users of Binance, whose information is sought to be disclosed. So in no particular order, let us go into the analysis. I'll start with the EFCC. Who is the EFCC? Alternatively, what is EFCC? EFCC is an acronym for Economic Financial Crimes Commission. The EFCC is a major anti-graft agency in Nigeria that is established and empowered by law to deal with concerns that relate to economic and financial crimes. According to stories we've heard back and forth, the EFCC had, through the Office of the National Security Advisor to the President of Nigeria, written to Binance on their own seeking for disclosure because they had a presumption and belief that activities of some Nigeria on the Binance platform are of such a manner and form to sabotage the economic interests of the Nigerian state, with particular regards to the exchange rate of the Naira in the parallel market. According to them, from the initial disclosures from Binance, they realized that there was over $12 billion of transactions made by Nigeria alone in the preceding year 2023. And it was on the grounds of this, according to them, that they went before the court seeking an order for full disclosure of every person involved in this transaction, high volume transaction, so to speak, because their order, according to them, was to get information of people who account for the top 100 transactions in terms of volume. The initial disclosures made by Binance to EFCC, we are made to understand, only showed and revealed the volume of transactions without being specific as to parties that made the transactions. This, for those of you who understand how the commercial sector works, is because we have in place privacy policies by every financial institution. So it was on the basis of this disclosure that EFCC decided to approach a court of law seeking for an order directing Binance to make full disclosure of accounts of persons who constitute the top 100 users, or better still, transactions in terms of volume with regards to Binance and trading the Naira. Now the question is, does the EFCC have the power to do this? And I'll answer very quickly. In the application they took before the court of law, even though we have not seen all of it in details, one of their claims was that some persons are using the Binance platform to facilitate money laundering and sponsoring of terrorism. And this, you know, will amount to financial crime. The EFCC, being a body established by law, regulated by the EFCC Act, has amongst its duties and powers the role of investigation of every concern that seems to point towards any sort of money laundering, financial crime, or economic crime. In the application before the court, they made allegations of economic and financial crimes and then went further to state that they will be needing these pieces of information to enable them substantiate their claims with regards to money laundering and terrorism financing through the Binance platform. Now let's go over to Binance. Binance is a financial institution, and like every other financial institution, it owes its customer a duty of care, a duty of data privacy, as well as a duty of confidentiality. More often than not, all of this will be contained in the company's privacy policy. So now here is Binance having a privacy policy on one side that prevents it from disclosing customer information to members of the public without the express consent of the customers sought and obtained. And on the other hand, we have the EFCC seeking to carry out their duty of investigation of financial crimes, stating that they want access to private information from Binance which relates to private individuals and customers who are innocent members of the public. The next party to look at in this picture is the user of Binance itself, that is a customer base whose information and data privacy has come under attack. So let's begin to state rights very quickly, putting them side by side with duties and obligations. Number one, a user on the Binance platform has a right to data privacy as well as confidentiality. Binance, on the other hand, has a duty to protect and keep data of her customers safe and private, and they are not to disclose such information without the express consent of the customer, except in exceptional circumstances, which we'll look at very soon. And then number three is the EFCC, an anti-graft agency in Nigeria, empowered to investigate all forms of economic and financial crime, coming to say that to enable them to do their job and carry out their responsibility, they must have access to private information of users held by Binance. And then in all of this, the grandfather of them all is the court of law. The court of law has listened to the EFCC asking for access to private customer information domiciled in Binance. Because we understand that by the EFCC Act, the EFCC is empowered to investigate all forms of economic and financial crimes. And now they have come to the court saying that they need information from Binance to enable them carry out a robust investigation as touches on economic and financial crimes. Number 1, they mention money laundering. Number 2, they mention terrorism sponsoring. Number 3, even though I did not see that one, but I believe that somewhere they must have claimed that the activities of Binance has affected the Naira, which can be seen from the standpoint as economic sabotage. The mentioning of all of this is enough reason to move the court to grant the EFCC the opportunity to have access to these pieces of information of private users and individuals domiciled in Binance, enable the EFCC to carry out an investigation. But a lot of people seem to see otherwise. Now, the interesting thing is this. Once an order of court is made, it carries with it the force of law. If you are unhappy with the order of court, or it is not in your favor, or you feel that it threatens some of your rights or privileges, you might have a temptation to refuse to obey the order of court. But that in itself is a very big crime. Because once an order of court is made, no matter how wrong or absurd, it carries with it the force of law. And the only option available is to obey that order of court.